It's time for the Engaged Club, the podcast for club managers and operators that strive to create loyal and connected members, guests, and customers. Here are the two guys with the club management and digital marketing advice you need to realize your club's potential. Jim Hope and Roger Kincaid.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Engaged Club. I'm Roger Kincaid, the marketing guy from Off Course Golf. You can find us online at offcourse.golf.
I'm Jim Hope, and I'm the GM of the Derrick Golf and Winter Club, and I am in the same room as Mr. Roger Kincaid today. This is an honor to be in the same room. And by the way, we are sharing a growler of craft beer from one of the local breweries in Edmonton.
Oh, yeah, and keeping with the theme, we've got our growlers just outside the podcast studio door here. So if you hear some puppies interacting, then you'll have to forgive us. We just try to share our thoughts on marketing and club management. Nowhere along the way did we pretend that we are a professional podcasting studio.
No, that would be a lie, Roger. But speaking of podcasting, what is it you'd like to chat with us about today?
Well, this is kind of cool that we're in the same room, Jim. And you know, I've been sort of trying to figure out, like, what's the perfect topic for an episode of the Engaged Club podcast that represents the perfect confluence of your superior skill set, which is club management, and my skill set that I bring to the table, which is marketing. And so I thought I would just make this statement and we'll see where it goes. And the statement is customer service is marketing.
It has to be. Mm-hmm. It's your number one marketing tool from both a positive and a negative way.
Sure.
Is the customer service that your business provides to people that walk through the door.
Yeah. And I mean, I can think of quite a few different ways that this manifests itself. And I'm going to give some examples just so that, you know, we can really crystallize and make concrete exactly how customer service equates to marketing. One of the easiest ways is to think of a Google review or a Yelp review, right? When you are looking for a sushi restaurant to go to in a new city, or if you're looking for, a place to go and get your car fixed, right? You'll Google or you'll look on Yelp for reviews, and you'll see something that says, 5 out of 5 stars. Carlos diagnosed the problem with my vehicle very quickly, and he made the necessary repairs and got my vehicle back to me that afternoon. I was really concerned that I was going to get ripped off, but I felt that I was treated fairly, and the price was excellent, right? So that's customer service, because he treated the customer fairly and delivered, a prompt service. And it equates to marketing, which is that message now getting out to the rest of the world that this is what we do at this shop, right?
Yeah.
And then another one is folklore, right? So, in that first case, like, we're actively seeking a review, that validation of the business, but then we also hear like these amazing stories of folklore. The story of the Nordstrom store, right? Where the customer came back and returned an item that he said he'd purchased there. And Nordstrom received the item and said, yeah, absolutely. We'll just give you a full refund for this item if you're not satisfied with it. The item was tires, a set of tires. Nordstrom does not sell tires, right? But they happily took them back for a couple of reasons. One being that this person will now come back and shop at Nordstrom, hopefully. But also because, like, they know that this level of customer service is the story that kind of extends beyond the doors of their premises. And so it becomes a great marketing tale for them. So customer service is marketing.
Absolutely. I mean, it used to be that you would flip through the newspaper on a Saturday or Sunday and look for the restaurant review or look for what restaurant was advertising in a paper to figure out where you were going to go for dinner. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. You call your friend, and you've talked about this. You call your friend and say, we're looking for sushi. Where have you been and why have you liked it? And I respect you because you got great taste and you know how to cook and you know how to eat well. So that's where we're going to go for dinner as well. So if you can have those kinds of stories coming out of your club from your members, you're apt to be able to gain loyal customers or future customers or future members because of those stories. And the same thing even goes from a negative story as well. Right. But you can turn the negative into a positive, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you really can. I mean, there's a lot of every time you have a shortcoming, a failure, if you will. It's incumbent upon us to look for the opportunity to make the correction, because the thing about it is that, when we let a customer down and they tell us, oh my God, we have to capitalize on this opportunity. Most of the time, think about this. A customer will stay silent and they'll never come back. Worse, they'll never tell us, but they'll tell their friends never to come see us. But if they come to tell us about a negative opportunity, then we have the opportunity to really listen to that customer, make sure that customer is understood, that they feel that their critique, their feedback is valued, and then just set it right. And I got to say, don't guess, ask. Just say to the customer, what could we do to make this right? And then they'll tell you what their expectation is, and that's what you exceed. Okay, I have a great story about this. That I was at a restaurant near my apartment. It had just opened up when I lived in Vancouver, and I took my my eventual wife. I think we'd been dating for a couple of months at this point in time, but we went in there for breakfast, and I ordered the same thing. Bacon, eggs over easy brown toast, and these eggs came back very runny, very watery. And so I asked my waiter, I said, sir, I would appreciate it. I mean, these eggs are not satisfactory. They're very soupy on the plate. And would you mind just refiring these and, over easy? Another plate of eggs come out and exact same thing. And so I asked the waiter, I'm like, well, it's the same thing. And the waiter told me, well, the chef said that this is how over easy eggs are. So I just said, well, okay, can you take them away then? Because I just don't want to eat these. I wasn't being difficult or making a scene, but I just was like, this is unappetizing and I'm not going to eat this breakfast. The manager came over with 2 mimosas. Okay. This was a huge problem. All I wanted was breakfast. And I did not want 2 alcoholic drinks at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, right? So the point being is that if the manager had come over and gone, hey, sir, I understand that you're not happy with your breakfast. Is there anything that we can do? Can we get you something else? Or is there something that we can do to make this right? I might have just said, no, thanks very much. Just don't charge me for the breakfast and we'll be on our way. But instead he brought these 2 mimosas over and gave us the full bill for the breakfast. And all I could think to myself was, if they keep doing this, they'll be closed. The restaurant didn't last a year.
And often what the customer wants is less than what you would just give them without even asking.
Right.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're there to make them happy. So why wouldn't you just ask them? Maybe we could do a pod too, and maybe you could touch just a little bit on it today about social media and what happens when you get that negative review. I know that there are some chains and there are some, I think hotel chains, Fairmont Hotels is one that they respond to every single social media post that happens, good or bad. Mm-hmm. And, if it's a bad one, especially, they say, please give us a call and we'd like to make this right. And they don't get into the debate on how you can fix it over social media. But any sort of tips on how to address that bad review that you get? Or
that is a really great topic, and it's not something we should gloss over quickly. So let's dedicate a future episode coming up to that very thing. So we're at episode 43 right now, so we'll make sure that we get to that before episode 50 at the very earliest. But I don't want to just you do have to address those negative reviews, and you should. You really should mobilize a team on them. It's not really just a matter of responding on Facebook or on Yelp or wherever it was, and then that being the end of it. I mean, you should go the extra mile and try to turn that into a positive story that you can tell yourself that includes that same person. But we'll get into some more detail about how we can do that in a future episode.
Awesome. Sounds good.
I want to say this, though, because customer service is marketing, right? You often can differentiate yourself and distinguish your property, distinguish your club with the customer service that you deliver. Jim, we talk a lot about how, fast greens and well-cut fairway, that's table stakes, right? If you're going to be a golf course that is going to be in the upper echelon of quality, you have to have these things as a standard. What's not table stakes is the way the back shop guys stand with their hands folded behind their back and they wait for your car to pull up and they call you Mr. Hope, it's great to see you, and they get your clubs out of the trunk of your car and then they say, your car will be waiting on the first tee, your tee time this morning, Mr. Hope, please go into the clubhouse and find a coffee and a donut, or whatever the case may be, right? That's not table stakes, and that's where customer service equals marketing. So my challenge then to everybody who's listening to this podcast and going, well, what is it that we can do? The challenge is to find really, really small opportunities and understand that it's a collection of snowflakes that make up a storm, right? So, you don't have to get a big team meeting together and overhaul a whole bunch of policies. Just every day, just find a little thing that is going to enhance the customer service experience, and you will find that in even a month, and especially in a year, that you have elevated your service offering to a point where your members bring it out into the wild, into the rest of the world, and it becomes your valuable marketing initiative.
I would say this, that it's as simple as that of saying hello. If you had every single one of your team members engaged to say hello to anybody that was within 10 feet of them, which is, I think it's the Ritz-Carlton model, right? Which is, ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen is their mission statement. If every single one of your team members said hello to anybody that was within 10 feet of them, how would that change the experience your guests and members would have at the club? Just that simple change.
Awesome. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any thoughts on this episode, please share them with us by email hello@engagedclub.com. And until the next episode, thanks for listening.
This has been the Engaged Club podcast with Jim Hope and Roger Kincaid. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. If you like what you heard, share it with your fellow club managers and operators. Until next time, thanks for listening.